Okay, so let's say you wanted to reduce a radical. Let's say you had radical 80, square root of 80. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply together to give you 80. There's lots of choices. 1 times 80, 2 times 40. You could do 5 times 16. If I look, I want to choose 5 and 16 because 16 is a perfect square. The square root of 16 is perfect whole number 4. And the square root of 5 is not a perfect square, so we just leave it like this. So my answer is 4 square roots of 5. So let's say if I made this a little bit more difficult, I said, okay, we have the square root of 80 times x to the 5th power times y to the 6th power. We can split this up to the square root of 80 times the square root of x to the 5th times the square root of y to the 6th. So we broke up the square root of 80 into the square root of 16 times the square root of 5. The reason why we picked 16 is because that's actually the square root of 4 times 4, which is 4 squared. Over here for the square root of 5, this actually can break into 3 parts. The square root of x squared times the square root of x squared times the square root of x. And y to the 6th is actually y squared, square root of y squared times the square root of y squared times the square root of y squared. Because 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. Over here we have, with the orange with the x's, we have 2 plus 2 plus 1. Now we said 4 squared times this, taking the square root of 4 squared is 4. So this becomes 4 square roots of 5. This is just whole number x times whole number x, which is x squared. We still have the square root of x underneath the radical there. And here we've got y squared times y squared times y squared. Since you're taking the square root of a square, they cancel out, and this is actually y times y times y, which is y to the 3rd. So my final answer is going to be 4x squared y to the 3rd, because they're all outside the radical. And then underneath the radical, we have 5x left. Okay, let's say we wanted to take a radical. Let's say we took 4 square roots of 5, and we wanted to square this. To square something, it means you take the number 4 square roots of 5 and you multiply it by itself, 4 square roots of 5. Well, this can actually be written as 4 times 4 because those are both outside of the square root sign, times the square root of 5 times the square root of 5. 4 times 4 is 16. The square root of 5 times 5 is the square root of 25. Well, the square root of 25 is just 5, so this is actually 16 times 5, which gets us back to 80. What if we just wanted to do something like 7x squared? Same concept, you're multiplying it by itself, 7x times 7x. That's the same thing as rewriting this as 7 times 7 times x times x. 7 times 7 is 49, and x times x is x squared. If you want to add together radicals or square roots, let's say we had 2 square roots of 5 plus 3 square roots of 2 plus 8 square roots of 5. we can only add together the radicals that have the same number underneath them. So this is 2 square roots of 5 and 8 square roots of 5. That gets us 10 square roots of 5. And then we just write plus 3 square roots of 2 on the end because the radical is a 2, not a 5. Going back to your quadratic formula, you might have something like 2 plus or minus the square root of 80 over, let's say, 4. Well, this is 2 plus or minus. We said the square root of 80 actually simplifies to 4 square roots of 5 over 4. Since these are both over 4, what we're actually doing here is we're doing 2 over 4 plus or minus 4 square roots of 5 over 4. 2 over 4 is 1/2 plus or minus 4 over 4. That reduces to 1, so it's 1/2 plus or minus the square root of 5. Or if you want to have them to have common denominators, this would be 1/2 plus or minus 2 square roots of 5 over 5. Then we can, 2 square roots of 5 over 2, excuse me. And we can rewrite this as 1 plus or minus 2 square roots of 5 over 2. Either form works.